Hello, everybody. Oh my goodness. My chair is always my nemesis. How are you? How are you? How are you? Just waiting on my laptop to catch up. It is very, very hot here. Is it hot where everybody else is? Hello, hello. Just sharpening a pencil. Excuse the noise. Hello, everybody. Just wait. Oh, waiting on my laptop. As always. There we are. Now I can see everybody's popping in. Hello, Mason. How are you? Okay. So, did you see what we ended up doing? Thank you for liking the live. We got pretty far yesterday. I was kind of impressed. And then I ended up, that's not going to come off. Thought maybe it would come off. Putting a couple of splatters on there. Let me see. I got to get this situated. I think the plan is to finish this one tonight and then maybe make a new teal palette. I got to wait and see. I can't remember 100% what the verdict was. And then I sealed this one. It came out nice. Hi, Nana. Hi, Dee Dee. How are you? But yeah, so I sealed that one. It came out pretty. I just need to put a magnet on the back. You know what? Speaking of that, I don't have any here. I'm going to chat in the, do me a favor if you can chat in the chat there so that they don't think I disappeared. Chat. I'm going to go ahead and put a magnet on the back. Hello, Mariah. Hi, Diane. Oh my gosh, these magnets are so strong. Oh, so I'm just going to pop a magnet on this finished one. And then it'll go right on my fridge. Hello, everybody. Thank you for popping in. If you're new here, say hi. I'm just putting a magnet on the back of one of the mandala dot art designs we did last week. Hang on one second. Just want to line that up. And then that'll go on the fridge. Hi, just Nikki. Hi, Donna. Hello, everybody. Just waiting for a few more people that are normally here to show up. If not, we will get started in a moment. So if you're new here, hi, I'm Victoria. I actually started this live because I was not finding I had a lot of time to paint because I am in a nurse practitioner program and I would start a project but never be able to finish it. I tend to do rather large mandalas. That this is for an example. You can see it's I think this is 21. So what happens is I end up starting one in between semesters. Ow. like this one, I started and I have not finished. So what I decided to do, because I really find painting very therapeutic, I wanted to try doing a live, but then I was challenged with trying to figure out what I could do and paint and still like feel accomplished, and yet like finish a piece and then maybe show people how to do the beginner steps of mandala style dot art. So I came up with, let me find one, like this is a good one. I came up with this idea where we would paint on river stones. I call these love stones. They're very loosely heart-shaped, but I get these in the creeks that I fish in. And I thought this would be something I could finish during a live. All it is dots of paint. But then we've had some community members that have asked that we work on, a traditional round mandala. So I went to order new 4-inch rounds. These are 4-inch, which is really good for beginners. But I did what I tell everybody not to do. I didn't pay attention to what I was buying, and I ended up with a bunch of 6-inch. So what we've been doing is working on a 6-inch, sometimes a stone. It just kind of depends. I let the community kind of guide us. Hi, Diamonds and Jewels. I let the community kind of guide what's happening, so that, it's interactive as best as it can be. I will say that this is the first mandala style dot art that I did on any other background than black. Normally, I use a black background. So the community asked me to try and do something on a lighter background. This is actually like a buttermilk. And then we came up with this orange palette. So the goal is to finish this tonight. I did make a custom palette, which is something I also teach in this live. So if you stick around, you'll see another custom palette put together for the stone that we're going to do. I just can't remember. We're going to do this one. I know it doesn't look like a heart right now. Be patient. It will when I base paint it. I just don't remember what color we decided we were going to use on the base. So I want to wait for a couple of... Do you remember? Thank you for the follow. My goodness. Hang on a minute. I got to find... Thank you for the follow, Debbie. I appreciate that. Wow, the scroll... Diamonds and Jewels, I'm sorry. I do not remember your first name. Do you remember what we were going to do with the stone? I can't remember if I was base coating it black. Tammy, are we doing it black and then teal, or are we doing... I couldn't remember. I remember we're going to finish this. And I remember we talked about teal, but I couldn't remember... So black, because I want to do that. I want to base coat that so that we're ready to go. So if you're new here, this paper that I put the custom palette paints on, so I can keep track of what colors I've used, is 110-pound paper. And it's actually very beneficial. You can even practice dotting on it. Cece, you don't remember? I don't either. We talked about so much stuff at the end. Thank you for the heart me. So, because I really think the teal looks really good on black, how about I just go ahead and stick to our traditional black? And we'll paint that up so that's drying and ready for us. I do I want to say I use a lot on the stones because of all the crevices and stuff. We're all so perfect for each other. I don't remember. We talked about so many different things towards the end there. So I'm just going to go ahead and paint it black. But I think the teal looks really good with the black background. We can always try another background another day. So this is a multi-surface satin black paint. And this is the one I use. I just can't say the name, apparently. So how is everybody doing? It was yucky hot today. I don't think the AC has turned off once. So when I paint these, the base paint, I accentuate the shape that I feel is a heart. It just takes me a little bit. So if you're new here, say hi in the chat. Tell us where you're tuning in from. It's a great group of people. Everybody's really friendly. If you have a question and I don't see it right away, somebody may offer up an answer. I might have put too much on there. Hang on a minute. We'll see. I try to get off the edge too a little bit, so that it goes around. So who here, remind me, paints on stones? I can't remember. That's our theme. So I'm just going to keep spreading that black out. I tried painting with the multi-surface paints, and I found them to be not very user-friendly on stone. Now, I don't know if that's because mine is kind of old, but I was just curious if anybody here has used it on stone. And if so, what brand? You do. So, okay, so you use, what brand do you do, Rhonda? What brand of multi-surface paint are you using? Or are you just saying that you paint on stone? Hi, Debbie. Yes, this is, I love doing any kind of mandala style dot art, so I love it all. But this is really fun because it allows me to actually kind of really do nothing while we're live. I actually put a little bit too much black on here. So I think I'm going to have to get another paper towel here in a second. Hi, Tutu Bells. Hey, Mason, is it hot where you are? Are you getting this heat wave too? I know we're getting it here in the Northeast, but you guys are always hot anyways, so I was just wondering if you were having any extra ridiculous heat. So the multi-surface black does go quite a ways, as you can see. I didn't think I'd put too much on there, but clearly I did. So I'm just evening it out here. Ugh. Indoor, outdoor. Okay. I don't know that I've ever used that brand. Like I said, I just know that the particular brand that I use was so thick. I mean, I was able to work with it, but I would never recommend it to a beginner because it was not beginner friendly at all, in my opinion. So I was just curious if anybody else found that to be true, or if it was maybe older paint and that's why. I don't know what our temperature was today, but it was ridiculous. The only thing that was good was we had a little bit of overcast. I agree. Our winter here in Northeast PA lasted forever. I'm not going to lie, I didn't think it was ever going to end. All right, I think that's good enough. We'll let that dry. There we go. Like I said, I guess I'd put way too much on there. Okay, let me put this aside, throw the paintbrush in some water, and I will be back and we will finish what we started. Okay. So I painted this stone with the this is one of them. This paint. Hello everybody. Oh, I gotta scroll back up. You have? Well, I'm gonna have to go look. I'm gonna have to go creep. So I guess maybe because it's satin. But it was really, really hard to work with. But it came out pretty. I mean, I love the way it came out. Actually, it reminds me of a monarch butterfly with the white micro dots. But, okay. Okay, good. Okay. And yes, Mason, I didn't know you had been posting. So I will definitely take a peek. Okay. So if you're new here, say hi in the chat. Let us know where you're tuning in from. You're always welcome to ask any questions. We're going to finish this. So you're kind of coming in on the tail end of a project. Hopefully I will be able to explain to you anything you might have a question about. A few things we use are dotting tools. They may look like nail art tools, and they absolutely can be. But they're basically tools that make dots. So you do not have to purchase tools, okay? You can, I gotta move this down. There we go. Oh, awesome. That's good. I'm glad that you were able to sneak in there. You just need tools that will make dots of paint. So a Q-tip, a toothpick, the end of a paintbrush, the end of a pencil, whatever. But sometimes people like to take lessons, and that artist may utilize tools. So I feel they're inexpensive, but again, I use that term loosely because for me, inexpensive and for you may be two different things. Ultimately, one side of the tool, these are all actually the exact same size dot. But when you flip them over, they make variations of sizes from tiny, tiny to a little bigger. We use these the most in beginner dot art, okay? When I do the stones, you will see me break out the acrylic rods. Not necessarily this big one. So acrylic rods have different sizes too. So you'll see me use these. Now, if you asked me for my supply list early on, I just realized maybe over the weekend, the list was not complete. So if you were a recipient of a list and it did not have hardly anything on it, that is my mistake. Message me here and I will get you the right list. If you want to message me, there should be an orange box at the bottom left-hand corner with an arrow in it. And it'll ask you, I think, for your email address. I don't need that. Just put a note in there you'd like the beginner supply list. And I'll send it to you right here. It's just easier that way. I'm getting my supplies out. All right. Fun. All right. So where we ended up is we're going to finish this particular pattern tonight. Now I just got to remember exactly which color that was. I think it was this one. That's the only problem when you do stuff like that, where you do one to show things. And I am going to stir it up because it's been sitting. So, but yeah, feel free if you have any questions. We have several people that have been here with me for a while. They'll be happy to answer any questions. And yeah, all right. So I think we were using the blue. Let's see. So in this particular pattern, okay, you're going to do a dot, and you want a good amount of paint. Okay, you need paint. And that's why I say using that black paper can help. Because you can do all of these little techniques on that paper. You can practice the dots. You can practice these swooshes. This is a swoosh, rightfully named. Okay. And then you're not wasting your palettes, your good wood. Now, the wood I use here is relatively inexpensive. Again, I'm using that term loosely, okay? But when you use these wood rounds, you can actually paint on both sides. Now, the only caveat to that is, like on this one, I used dimensional paint. Might be a little awkward painting on the other side, but you don't have to use dimensional paint. Okay. All right. So yes, if you're new here, say hi in the chat. Tell us where you're tuning in from. I do like to hear what other crafts people do. We get quite a few different varieties of guests here. We've had people that have thrown pottery and paint on CDs and crochet and Catherine, you make the junk journals, which are very, very cool. If anybody has time, you should pop on her live. It's pretty cool. Oops, I got a little close on that one. Up here. Cece, what color palette are you working with? Or what color, I should say. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, like I said, I wish I could get on there, but like I told you, I talked to my preceptor today and we were like, she went through the schedule for the rest of the week. She goes, I think you're going to get done this week. I think you're going to get done. I said, because they're not there on Friday. And I'm like, oh no, because I was hoping to because I only needed 19 patients and we got 6 more. So I only need 13 more patients between Wednesday and Thursday. If that happens, that will be fantastic. Perfect. You did. Oh, so you got the 110. You did get the paper? Okay, that's cool. I didn't realize how versatile that paper was until like people were coming in saying, you could trace the round and do the stencil, the guide marks on there. Oh, right. Watercolor paper. Because I remember Marcia said that should work too. Does it tell you the weight of the paper on that? I'm just curious if it's comparable. Like, do I need to tell people 110 pounds? Yeah, I'm excited that you're doing that. I'm excited that you got all your stuff and that don't get frustrated on one practice now either. Thank you for the follow. 90. Okay. So that's good to know. Hi, Kara. Yeah, we started this one. You weren't here last night. So we started this last night. And can you believe it? We got this far last night. I'm impressed. Cool. No, yep. Baby steps. It's perfect. Oh, cool. Okay. I might have to grab some just to have it so that if somebody asks me about it, then I can speak on it. Yeah, so and then Carol, were you here when we painted this stone on the buttermilk background? We made history that night because I've never painted on any other background than black. So then they were like, oh, orange would look really good on a buttermilk background. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So we made history again last night. It was my first round with buttermilk or any other color than black. So, and yeah, I think it's coming out pretty. I will say I learned a few things. You got to be careful. Like splatters happen and they get hidden real well on black. But when you use a light background, not so much. So very different than anything I've ever done, but very happy. I love the challenges you guys throw at me because you want to see them. You can send me some. I appreciate that. I think, oh, wait. Oh, no, it's not watercolor. I think it's sketch paper. I think it's sketch. Oh, we have company. You can come in. You can come in. You're going to be quiet? I don't know about that, but So normally the boyfriend is at work, and I forgot he's going to be off because of all the big 4th of July stuff. So he just creeped in from mowing the lawn. He's going to be banished to somewhere. They can't even see you. So you could act a fool, and nobody would even know.
I don't know about that. Okay.
So anyways, all right. So yeah. So the only thing with this that I haven't quite determined is what we're going to do in this little bit of negative space. I may do some walking dots. I don't know. We'll see when we get around to it. So yeah, we'll have to see what we're at. So I know Thursday we planned on the purple. Gosh, I can't even remember who that was for, but she can only be here on Thursday, so we saving purple for her. I know we've had quite a few people wanting to see teal, so we're going to work on that stone tonight with the teal. Is there anything that you guys would like to, I mean, I've brought up a couple of things in the past when I first started, like we can do a pattern book, like we can do a few patterns one day in the book. I don't know, you guys have to kind of, I mean, I have ideas, but I don't really know what people want. Oh, that's what I was saying. So yeah, on the paper, you can actually trace your round and do your guide marks right in the book and then practice in the book. So that's kind of cool. You can have your color palette right there, your practice piece right there. You want to try? I'd like that because I just saw the pattern book for the first time. Yes. I think that was April. Yeah. Gosh, Cece. Yes, I think that was April. You're right. That's good. Yeah, see, you guys got something. With all of us here, we're going to remember something. Yeah, so if people have something to do a pattern book with, cardstock is too thin. We determined, I kept calling my paper cardstock, and I'm wrong. It's 110-pound paper. But as we were saying, some people use the watercolor paper, and it works well. So, and I can show you what mine looks like. Obviously, there's patterns that aren't in there that I do. I mean, I'd love to, like I said, if I finish this semester, oh, hang on a minute. There's some wood grain going on there. Hang on. If I finish this semester, I just feel like if I start a big round, you guys are going to get bored with that. Sitting there watching me do that all the time. Yep. That is why I do. So are you using paint pots? Did you get paint pots, or are you using a palette? And by palette, I mean, like this, where it's shallow. Okay, so you don't want to go all the way down in that paint. Okay, so if you're going down and you're hitting the plastic, you may need a little more paint. You really just want to go in the top of the paint, and you could swirl it around. But if you're going down sometimes and actually hitting the plastic, it's actually going to interfere with how much paint you pick up. if that makes sense. That happens to me too. I have a tendency, I don't know if I want to hear that noise, but I have a tendency of when I'm using a palette doing that, and I'm like, why don't I have enough paint? And it might be that. So try that. You may just need a little bit more paint in there. And then again with these swooshes, as you can see, I'm just pushing that paint around. What's up? My name's Victoria. Okay. That sounds good. Okay. Yeah, so like I said, since you're using paper, I would try a couple of techniques. Like swirl your tool in there, just dip it in there, just get a some sort of pattern where every time you're doing the same thing. Although you see what I do too. Like sometimes I have to go back in. Now, if that paint gets dry or clumped up on the end, you're going to get variations in your dots too. So you want to wipe that off. As a matter of fact, that's what I just did too. Okay, so that's another thing. If it's getting caked up on there, you're going to want to wipe it off. Thank you for liking the live. Appreciate that. And push it around. Push it around. And remember, these swooshes take time. Even though it's a beginner technique, they are not easy. And when I say technique, I mean this is kind of, like I said, a beginner pattern. Oh, that one orange dot may get covered up with something. That one there. And this, oh, that one's, darn it. So, there we go. I think it has to do with the amount of time you hold the tool on the paper. Yeah, it can. I'm, again, not familiar with using that paper. Now, remember, paper is going to absorb quicker. So I could see that kind of being a factor. Obviously on the wood, it's not going to absorb into, it's porous and it's got the wood grain, but there we go. I just have a, yeah. Angie, do you practice on watercolor paint paper too? That's okay. It's a start. You can practice tiny, tiny dots. I'm going to get a bottle of water. Oh, stop. It's not 10 o'clock. She usually starts acting up at 10. I don't have an open one. Yeah. She starts acting up every night at 10, but she's going to act up now because you're here. Yeah, but that's okay. When you have so you have like the wood rounds. Let me plug in my phone too before No, not now. Okay. Yeah, I mean, she's using paper, so I think she might be having, just something to kind of get used to. Hang on, my cord is in my way. Okay, so let me look at this here. I feel like I'd like to do some gold. Let me see. I may do walking dots in gold. Around. So it'll look like this. So I'll start and walk them. And then here, and then maybe an orange swoosh. Let's see. So sometimes I make things up as I go based on what I have. Oh, I remember this was a pain trying to get enough on there. All right, that. Okay. I remember that. For some reason that gold is, see, it doesn't want to, hang on a minute. I got to hold my tool like that. There we go. I do have a tendency to hold my tool on the side. I can't believe the amount of spatters I'm getting. What kind of paint are you using? Are you using what I have here, or are you using a different brand? That happens. But yeah, if you hold your tool straight up and down, you're going to get more paint come off. I just have a habit of holding it on its side. Same. Okay. Yeah, it happens. Again, that's why I recommend like some sort of practice palette, because, I get to cover up that dot. That spatter. So if you notice, it's really tight in some of those areas, so I'm just making the walking dots work. Going around. There we go. Anybody else painting at the same time? I probably should have gone up there. You're crocheting flowers, cool. Like I said, I wish I could crochet. I do think that one of my patients, she crochets. What did she make the other day when I was there? It was super cute. Like, she makes little animals. They're so cute. I don't know what she does with them. I don't know if she takes them to a craft show or she just gives them away as gifts, or I don't know. I'm resting. You had two oh, how did they go? How did the craft shows go? And remind me where you're at. Shows can go one of two ways. So I'm curious. I always love going to them because I see so many artistic people. It's so cool. Okay, Ohio. Okay. Did your weather have anything to do with it at all? Hi, Lisa. How are you? Because I feel like you guys are having kind of some of the same yucky stuff. Good, good. We are just finishing up what we started last night. I'm still impressed we got as far as we did last night with what we were working on. Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Yeah, I feel like, like right now we're getting ready to, we're bracing for that heat wave. So, depending on what your craft may be, I feel like sometimes stuff melts. I think this color would have also looked good on black. What we're doing? Oh, I agree. But like I said, I'm up for the challenge. I enjoy doing you guys want to see something, I can do it. I think that's kind of what's kind of cool about doing the live. One, you can see when I screw up. Hi, Sandra. I think, honestly, I'll be honest, we have enough paint. We could do the exact same pattern on black, and it will look totally different. Absolutely different. I like that little walking dot of that gold. That's pretty. Thank you for liking the live, guys. Like I said, that gets us new friends. Gets us new friends. Like I said, there's some of these spots are a little tight, so I'm doing the best I can with the walking dots. That's true. Me too, Kara. Me too. Did you like the different setup yesterday? Like overhead? Oh, you mean like overhead? I just gotten so used to, I can go overhead if that helps. Yeah, I'll go back. I'll put that over there. Hang on 1 second. Oop, run away. I just have to remember to look for the puzzle piece. Okay, let's find where happy spot is. How's that? I think it's fine either. It really doesn't matter to me. The only thing I forget to do is have my phone charged. So then my cord is kind of in my way, but it's fine. I don't need that. Let me get rid of that. How's that? And I do suggest that when you're painting, whatever pattern you're painting should be towards your belly button. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. I feel like it changes the colors though because of my light. I just want to see what it looks like on my laptop. So let me see what it looks like brighter. Okay, that's probably a little more realistic. Let me just hold it like this and see. I don't think there, yeah, see, that's a little bit more realistic. The orange is a little more orange than with that, because my ring light is here and I feel like the phone kind of shadows it, but I don't know that the colors are as important as you being able to see. Okay, so this is a really tight space, so I'm doing the best I can. And that will happen as you're practicing, you know, like this swoosh is way bigger than this swoosh, so that made that space smaller. But you're the only one who's going to notice that. Nobody's going to notice that unless you point it out to them. And like I said, I just make do with what I can and keep going. Let's see. So I think all I'll really do is maybe do a little triangle of orange in here, because orange was our primary color, and we'll call that finished. You could do whatever you want. You could do top dots here. I'm always cautious because there's always a lot going on. So I like some elements to be the way they are. So I don't always do top dots. I love top dots, but I don't always do them. Depends on the pattern. Oops. And I say every night I should get my Lazy Susan and set up, and I don't. Although I feel like every day, like there's stuff going on before I sit down. I've seen... Hi, Lynn. Thank you for the heart me. Yeah, like I said, you wouldn't notice it unless I said something. Really? I'm not afraid to do that, but I don't necessarily, and that's what's fabulous about this art form, right? Because you can do as little or as much as you want. Like you could literally keep doing something. Like you could put a dot here. But I kind of like that airiness of that centerpiece right now. And then, and then some people, like I said, sometimes if these do not like this lined up really good. This actually came out very nicely. Sometimes if they don't line up, I'll do a top dot there. I say top dot, but I'll do a dot there. But it just depends on the pattern and what I see in it as to what I do. And that's the beauty of it. It becomes you're gonna have your own style, your own like your colors. I think for me, like I've had people ask me to do a custom palette for like a hat, one of the hats I do, and That is so hard for me because when I paint, I just paint. Oh, Lynn, didn't it come out? Isn't it coming out pretty? And I don't, were you here last night? I can't remember. But you know, I made history last night. I have never painted a round mandala on anything other than a black base. So we made history last night. Oh, okay. Yep. So we made history last night. And it's been fun. And then the color palette was orange, but we didn't want it to be like pastel orange. We wanted it to kind of stay orange. So I tried something I've never done, which was mix an orange with burnt sienna. And what that did is obviously it made the orange a little more brown, but it kept it like a richer color. Yes. Very fall. So let me hold it up and see if you guys can see. Because like I said, I feel like it's muting. Here, let me do this for a second. There, I think that gives you a really good idea of the colors. Yes. Very, very pretty. Okay. Thank you for the Go Pop. Appreciate that. So Lynn, I'm almost done with clinical. Hopefully this week. Hopefully. Then, oh, thank you for helping me reach my goal. I appreciate you, Lynn. Thank you. I love it when we do that. It's such a small thing, but it's so fun. Because it's the only time that my phone makes a noise. So it's fun. And you know what? I don't have a puzzle piece. What time is that? Okay, so I got to pay attention now for that puzzle piece thing. Okay, so I think I'm going to... I just want to do something right here, but nothing crazy. I don't know if I want to do orange. I was thinking I would do this. Let's see what it looks like. You know how you're... Yes. Oh, really? Well, that's different. I've not seen that. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a dot, dot, and dot. But I want them a little bigger than that. So let's dot, dot, dot. Just something to fill in and give it a little bit of color there. So dot. Okay, this tool is a little too small, so I'm going to switch it around. I want them not huge. There we go. But I don't want them not dots. There we go. Just something to add there. Yeah, that's an interesting. Did it come with, is it like a paintbrush? So I don't know if you can tell. So the first dot is big. It's kind of like a walking dot. And then these two are a little smaller. And that's kind of on purpose. If you don't like that look, you don't have to do that. But it just, like I said, it's just something to fill that and just add that last little pop of color. So is it a paintbrush, or is it give you a different dot? Huh. That's cool. Some comments in the live were filtered to protect the community's experience. I don't know. Somebody must have said something. And it probably wasn't anything. I know sometimes the TikTok will detect a word and, like, I don't know. Maybe it was misspelled. Oh, hang on. I got my puzzle piece. Here we go. Whew. Yeah, I don't know, Mari. It just, and sometimes I think that TikTok just picks they detect something, and I get it. I'd rather paint than have to worry about, somebody saying something wrong in the chat, but I've muted people before. How are you, Mari? Ta-da! It's good to see you. All right, friends. I got to be careful. I don't want to touch nothing. So the only thing I would think to do is, for anything, would be to top dot this with the textured paint. That's the only thing. Because, or I may even consider, I like the lacy look around the edge. You could do a swoosh of gold on that orange. Let me just show you what it looks like, okay? Oh, well, thank you. We had a lot of fun doing this. We had a lot of fun. We made history last night because I don't think you were here last night. I've never painted. Usually I paint everything on black. But last night we painted on buttermilk. So we made history. It's the first time ever in all my painting. So you can do this. You can take and very gently swoosh gold on that. And let me try and pick it up so you guys can see. Instead of a top dot. Okay. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to go do that, but I wanted to show you that as an option instead of a top dot. Now, many times we'll do that with a brush stroke. Let me see if I have a big piece with the brush stroke like that. Hang on a minute. Let's look. No. No. No, I guess I don't have any out here with the brush stroke on top. No, but look at this one, came out so pretty. I'm going to share it because it came out so pretty. So hang on a minute. I got to tilt the camera here. So, well, tilt camera. So this is a pretty large mandala. Let's see. How am I going to do this? Hold that thought. Hold that thought. Let's get this out of the way so it can dry. We'll start with that. Okay. Now I don't have to worry about hitting that. Okay. All right, and let's move this back. So this is probably a 21 inch, and this is probably a 12-inch mirror. Okay, but when you do something like this, you have to do brush strokes. Like this is a 2-inch brush stroke, because if you're doing swooshes on something this big, unless it's like filler work, like right here. Oh, I guess you guys can't see my hand. Hang on, let's try and get this a little bit better. So like this is like filler work, but these are brush strokes. So, okay, got my center dot on my rock. I'm off to the races. Awesome. But I feel like once you kind of get your dotting where you're consistent, you're going to want to transition and learn how to use your brushes. Because then it just advances you into being able to do a large piece like this in a relatively short period of time. I mean, you saw it took us, like 3 hours to do that one small round. I mean, this takes quite a few hours, but anyways, I just wanted to share that. Once you get comfortable with your techniques and everything, then you're gonna want to. I mean, it's all about growth. So, okay. Now, okay, there's 14 of you here. I'm not really sure how many of you would be new. If you're new here and you have questions, drop them in the chat. If not, I'm going to go ahead and get our palette going. So the verdict was we were going to do a teal pattern, a teal colors. So I picked out a few. Okay. And this will be a group effort. So this is peacock teal. Trying to center everything. And I think I'm going to use these three together. This is mermaid tail. And then this is teal mint. Oops. So I think I'm going to use those 3 colors, but sticking true to my liking to mix colors so that people see how that works. I'm going to add some sand gray to these 2. So I'll do this one. Here, let me get it back in frame. Do I need to go up? I can't. It's kind of hard. Hang on a minute. Let's see. It's kind of hard to tell where everything is. Hang on. I feel like our frame is like we don't have. Let me move that up a little bit and see what happens. Just moving things around here. Okay. That might be better since I know the puzzle piece is done. So I'm going to do these colors and then this one will be here. Okay. And then I will add sand gray to this one and this one to get a couple other colors in there. And I do fill them up pretty much. Uh-oh. Need that one. Does anybody have any questions? You guys are kind of quiet tonight. Oh. Come on. There we go. So I fill that up and then not as much. Okay. No questions. I'm just, okay. Good. I appreciate you guys for being here. All right, so then I'm going to add sand gray to this one and this one. And we mix. Oh, and you know what? While I'm thinking about it, let me get out my palette so that I can put it. Let's put this on here. There we go. All right. So is anybody doing anything? I think I've asked this. Are you guys doing anything big for the 250, the 4th of July? I know, like I said, Frank's family every 4th of July does a big, like they all get together. It's a big to do. So they're going to start trickling in starting tomorrow. Oh. Yeah, I mean, I don't either. The 4th is kind of an oddly rough holiday for me, but they do a very nice firework display by the volunteer firefighters. We pay like 10, I don't remember what it is. I don't pay it, but we pay a little bit of a fee to get in. But when I tell you the fireworks are amazing, they do a very good job, and it's always packed. Like everybody goes to that particular fireworks. And we're in rural PA, so it's quite a big deal. Ooh, I like that one with the... Ooh, that one's pretty. Yes, acrylic craft paints, and these are matte finish, so they're not satin. Okay, so oh, this one must have the cracked end on it. Okay. I go through so many. Hey, I sent you a DM. Oh. Okay. I'll look. I don't know how to look while I'm live, but I'll look. See if I can figure it out. Ooh, these are going to be pretty. If you like teal, I think you're in for a real treat. Now these two almost look identical. That is not something I would have expected. I don't know why, but I really like this color. I don't know, it's kind of like a baby blue. Okay. And the last one. Just for a little bit of contrast, I wanted that like that green. I think that would be cool. These didn't really these aren't really designed for walking dots, the bigger tools. There we go. That's better. What do you think? What do you guys think? You like it? Should we go for it? You love it? Let me see. Like I said, let's show you in like... Hi, Karen. All right. What are those things? What is that? Yes. When you guys are liking the live, the little heart looks different right now. Can you see that? It looks like a gem in a treasure box. Okay, so... Cool. I didn't, I mean, I see it out of the corner of my eye when when I have the camera there, but oh, okay, well, I guess we're in some sort of challenge. I don't know. I just come here to paint. Alrighty, so this is our stone. Okay, and if you're new here, I call these love stones. It is loosely heart-shaped, and I'm going to actually zoom back down because I want you guys to be able to see what we're doing. You don't necessarily need to see the color palette all the time. Okay, well, that's cool. Like I said, I was just looking at them going like it's a treasure box and I don't know what that thing is, but cool. You are a noob here. Well, welcome. Welcome. You are in for a treat. So these are I picked these up from the creeks where I fish. I call them love stones because they're very loosely heart-shaped. I can actually accent the heart shape a lot better when I paint the base on it. This one, it may present some challenges. There's quite a few divots on this side. I didn't realize that until I cleaned it and already committed myself to using it. So, all right. How we start is with a center dot. Okay, and this is a pretty big stone. So let's use this acrylic rod. Now, when I do a center dot, I come down from the V I painted to about the center. I don't measure. There's nothing here measured on this one. We do enough time measuring when we're doing the rounds. So this is really a quite a fun painting project when we do these rocks. Okay. So like I said, I'm going to start with this one. When you do your center dot, you want a good amount of paint. Okay? So center looks good to me. Because you want that. You want that center dot to dome and be full and juicy. That's what we say. You want a juicy center dot. Okay. And I don't do this in any specific order, but sometimes I go from dark to light. Sometimes I bounce around. There's no rhyme or reason. It's just what I decide I want to do. So I'm going to go back to the basic dotting tools. If I can find my other one. There it is. All right. And then I'm going to use the small end of the yellow. So this is the regular size, and then this is pretty small. So we start with a small ring around your center dot, and each dot gets a new dip in the paint. The goal with these dots is that they don't touch, and they're all about the same size. It's kind of challenging. It does get easier, but I still make mistakes. And I do make them live too. I am not perfect. Depending on how bad the mistake is, I usually try to leave it. If it's really bad and like the whole piece is going to be a mess, then I show everybody how to erase it. And so, Mari, this is where I usually tell, like, you know, a rock is a good place to practice because, you know, you can actually sand it, start over, wipe it all off with, you know, a damp cloth. Because while this is wet, it's water-based. It's not cured or anything, so it'll come off. Once you wait for it to dry, though, you might have to sand it. So you're going to have to pause here, and I can get 2 in there, but it's tight. So what I do is I'm going to do very tiny, tiny dot there. Tiny, tiny, tiny. You can. It just depends on like what it is. So once we get going, nobody is ever going to know that that dot is tiny and touching the other one. Like you're not going to see that. I mean, unless I point that out, nobody's going to see that. Okay, so now I'm going to go up in the colors. And I'm also going up in size. So this is the larger end of the yellow. And all I'm going to do now is just go right around. Same thing. Nothing different. Just make my dots as consistently the same size without touching the row before and the dot before. The bigger your dots are, they can spread, especially when you add like a lighter color, like that sand gray does tend to thin out the paint because there's some white in it. Oh, sometimes I'm already like thinking of what somebody may ask, yes. But I think the community, we really like doing these stones. It's quite for what it is, there's no design. It's all dots of paint. And it's very forgiving because these stones are not, they're not a symmetrical shape. So it would give a beginner the sense of, you're not having to follow guide marks. You're not having to stay in lines. It's a good practice beginner project, I think. Now, that being said, not everybody has access to creek rocks. So 1, 2. Again, I'm pausing just to make sure I can get, and even if you can't, that's fine. Sometimes you just have to make them a little smaller. So I actually do that. I'll go small, and then I'll go back and maybe make it a little bigger. But I'm not going to mess with it all that much because they were tight fitting too. So, Mari, these, so originally my plan was that they would go back to the creeks where they came from. Meaning, like, I do a lot of fly fishing. So there's usually like a trailhead or a place where a lot of, anglers go in at the same place. So there's a trail, and I thought I would put them there. Well, one of the places we fish has a really beautiful cemetery, and we were walking around there, and there was so many graves of children that like passed away in the early 1900s, like 1890 to 1910. So I started putting them there. But part of the delay to get them there is the paint. The recommendation is that the paint cures for like 14 days. So I have quite a few here waiting to be sealed. And then once they get sealed, you have to wait for, I don't know, another amount of time. I don't know. But that's what I do with them. But you could do whatever you want with them. I think they used to do something like this, like with kids, and they were called like friendship stones or something like that. So, and again, I just picked up the white tool and the large end. Yeah, and that's why I'm trying to make sure I don't rush the process, because I do want them to last. They won't last forever, but they will be back in the elements. And yeah. So just going up in size, changing the color. And I'll go up in size for quite a while. And, oh, my voice is cracking. And then I'll start to go back down in size. Now, who was it? Yes, it definitely is. Who was it in here that had issues with their dots going flat? I can't remember. That was just last night we talked about that. Was that you? Okay, Karen. Okay, did you do any practice today? Oh, you have that problem. Okay, what are you painting on? Yes, she was painting on chalkboard paint. So what is your base layer? What do you paint on? I'm just curious. Oops, that was a little close. Sorry. Do you use multi-surface black? Or do you use chalkboard paint? Am I in? Yeah, I'm in. Okay. Acrylic. Okay. It's not satin. Yeah, for the background. So I feel like the flatness of because chalkboard paint is kind of flat. The difference may be that I am painting on, but that didn't happen on that round, and that's just a flat buttermilk. Let me look at that a second. I'm just wondering what was causing that to happen for her. 1, 2, 3. Let's see. 1, 2. Ooh. Okay. Let's clean that up. You're not. Okay. And that, I wonder if that, okay. Perfect. So I'm going to clean that up a little bit, and I think I'm going to just so when you erase, trying to figure out which way I want to go, you're going to roll towards you. Very, very carefully. Now, doesn't have to be perfect because I'm going back over it, but you do it very carefully. Okay, well, I just was wondering if it had anything to do with the base coat, because This, I feel like our project, they weren't really flat. Yeah, they're not flat. They actually have a little bit of a dome on them. Okay. All right, let's look at this here. I don't know why I feel like I should be able to get 3 in there, but we're just gonna do 2. So that's why I always say pause. Now, yes, there's a little bit more of a gap there. These are bigger, these are smaller. Again, nobody is gonna know. Everybody's gonna just look at it and say, it's so pretty. Nobody's gonna notice. We should use a metallic, don't you think? Something? What do you think? A silver. Didn't we talk about maybe a silver? Oh. I have zinc. Oh, I don't know if that's... I have zinc. What about this? And shinier glitter. I love adding a metallic. So I have zinc. Should we just use that? Let me see. Hi, Dee. Oh, sorry. Let me just add a little bit more because it's not much in there. All righty. Now we're in business. Okay, so let's do, I'm going to save the zinc for a little bit bigger dot. Hi, thank you for the heartbeat, Jen. No worry. Jen, you're here. We finished. We finished. Only thing I may do is come in and add the gold accents to the orange. Hi, Lisa. I know. The turquoise is pretty. So, anyways, we finished. And then you're catching us on our stones. So, all right, yeah. So we're gonna go. Let me see. I think we need to go to a rod. Let me see. So I'm gonna switch to the acrylic rods as we get bigger here. And I don't do anything. Now, some people like to do every other and line it up, and I'm not doing that, okay? I am simply just going around in the circle. If it lines up that way, that's beautiful. I don't do that intentionally. I'm not going to sit here and try and make that work. Oh, thanks. There we go. There we go. We're back. But if they line up, but typically I just start dotting in a circle. My goal is just to keep going up, keep the colors going. And then, yeah, I think the next row I'm going to use the metallic. To get some shine in there. There's a bunch of divots over here, so I don't know how that's all going to work out, but Do you always use the same number? Tend to do 5. I don't know if that is just because there's only 6 pots. So we do 5 colors and a metallic. I've seen people do like the rainbow though. I have not. I seem to stick with 5, a metallic, and I might do a dimensional paint. Sometimes I'll mix up a palette of 5 colors and then not use all 5. But I like to have the 5 available for the different contrast and stuff that you can get from them. 1, 2, okay. 1, 2, okay, 3. Okay, we'll make this one a little bigger. There we go. Oh. So I use this folded up t-shirt to make or try and get things to be level so that the paint doesn't run. Thank you for the follow. You like this palette? I feel like I paint with this color palette, blues and greens, a lot. That tends to be, if I look around. But I do like, this kind of color palette too. I don't know where it is right now, so it's easier for me just to grab. But I do like the mauves and like that neutral, I like that too. So mauve, I guess, or maroon, or whatever color that is. Okay. 9:43. Okay. All right. We're going to go up in size. And that's all I do from here. Those of you that are new, Mari, I just keep going up in size until I get to a point where I'm like, okay, we need to start getting smaller. I have to go. Well, thank you for being here. I appreciate you for being here. You've been here almost all night. Thank you. Hope to see you again. Have a great night. Tinted. Good night. Good night. Gotta love the autocorrect. One thing I had done one night when I was doing this, and if you were here, it was unusual that I did it, but I actually started dotting here and then I started dotting here and my circle did not line up. So you want to keep going in your circle. or I did something. I feel like I started and I don't know what I did, but you want to keep going in your circle, however it is. All right, 1, 2, oof. They're getting me tight. Okay, not too bad. Not too bad. All right, so we'll go up again in size. Probably skip to like this middle color. And let's see, we'll go up one more size. So I usually just pick one dot to line up with and then, start going around. That's about it. So, tomorrow night, we need to talk about tomorrow night. What are we doing tomorrow night? What do we want to do tomorrow? Do we want to... Hello, Victoria. Thank you for stopping by. That's my name. I always find it interesting when my namesakes swing by. And let's see. Let's see what happens. It's going to go over a little bit. So I'll probably just do this. Put that in there. A little bit small, but usually I can get a full-size dot, but that's the way I painted it. All right, well, we're just going to go with that. Does anybody have a color choice that they want to throw out there? Remember, Thursday's going to be purple. I mean, we just mixed this. We have plenty of this. So we can use this again. We can do a rock around. Rock around. Is everybody asleep? Nobody wants to vote? You're all mesmerized? What's going on out there? Do we want to work on the patterns? 1, 2. There we go. Oh, ooh. That would be a cool, I think Tiger Lily would definitely go with this. I do. You want to work on some patterns, like a pattern book? Jen, do you have paper that you could practice. I can't remember where you're at with your supplies and what you have. So I offered to maybe like do a pattern, like start a pattern page with the community. I'm not saying I don't like your tiger lily with the turquoise idea, though. You do have the paper? Okay. All right. So let's do that. So I will, we will do the ones we've learned. Okay. Because we have learned a couple. And we'll see how far we get in that. I would suggest that you have, some colors picked out, whether it be, in paint pots or palette. But again, I do recommend like 5 contrasting colors. It obviously doesn't matter because you're really the only ones who are going to see it. So I am going to take Jen's idea, though, and we're going to do micro dots with the tiger lily right now. I think right here. Just to add a pop of color. Like that. Just enough. It reminds me of turquoise jewelry when they use the coral in there, because they do that very frequently. They'll throw that pop of orange coral in there, and it is gorgeous. Yeah. Wait, Jen, right? Was that you that, right? Jen said that. Yes, okay. I was like, wait a minute. Who said that? Or who suggested that? I think that's great. And then that will also help me tie that little section in as well. I forgot my chickens are still running around. The later, how it gets dark later, like they're still running around by the time I'm trying to get them live. And I'm like, I am not chasing you guys around the yard. And they don't want to go in, so hopefully they're safe. We have an electric fence, but it's not up because they were free ranging. I just put it up at night. It was so hot here. I got home and they were panting. I was like, oh my God, it's too hot. So when they go in the woods, it helps. Oh, it almost reminds me of the Miami Dolphins, too. I just thought of that. Go Fins. Very cool. Yeah. Yeah, it was so hot. It was crazy. And like I said, I can hear them panting, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And they were in the shade, and there was a breeze, but they go in the woods behind the house, and then I think it's much cooler in there for them. Yes. Okay, so I am going to, let me think here, because I think I'm going to start to go back down, but I didn't use this size. Or did I use that size for that? So let's go back down in size now. I wonder if yeah, let's just go back to, and this is actually going to make a slightly bigger dot just because of it has a little more white in it, even though it's the same size tool. And then after this row, I'll start to go back down in size. And then one more. This one kind of comes off the edge a little bit. And then I'll do the walking dots. I'll show you guys how I do that. Same thing here. I'll finish this going this way. Hang on, I gotta turn it this way. There we go. Oops. Paint splatter. And then I'll do walking dots there. So same thing here. I'll come up pretty close. There we go. Pretty. Like I said, I do like painting with blues and turquoises. I don't know. It's so, to me, it's like it's like a very soothing color palette. You know, that has inspired me to paint turquoise. Coppermint, yeah. He was here for a little while. He actually said he started posting his painting. Catherine went over there, and I guess I have not been to his page because he hadn't been posting, his work. I'm not sure why, but he hadn't been. So, but now that he has, I'm going to go check it out. So y'all should go check it out. But he was here for a little bit. So I just walk the dots on those edges to finish them up where it starts to come off the edge. And again, I think that just adds a uniqueness to the piece. It just makes it that much more irregular, but meant to be. 1, 2, 3. And I don't necessarily line them up, but I want them to kind of accent the V, if that makes sense. And then I'm actually going to micro dot in between there. I think with the metallic. Oh. Very calming. Yeah, well, one thing is there's like a, what's the word I want to use? Not pressure, but So like sometimes the paint spreads, which we've talked about that. So when that happens, obviously, you really can't do much about that. Oh, I don't know if I like that. Can't really see that. I might. You just have to practice, though. I think that's really, really it in a nutshell. Don't really know if I like that against that orange. Maybe I'm just not going to do that like I had planned. I'm going to ignore that those are there because I am terrified to try and get those out of there. I think the rocks are really fun as like a beginner project. And then you have to like work on, getting your dots symmetrical. And then if they do bleed together, it's not, like I said, you can fix it. All right, so same thing. I'm gonna, wait, I just used this tool, didn't I? I need to go down in size. Here we go. I need this one. So leaving a little bit of a space to finish up the like walking dots on the edges. You don't have to leave a big space. Hi, how are you? Welcome. It's me, Angela. How are you, Angela? Where have you been? You changed your name. Why did you change your name? I've done that before too. I think people do that frequently. Thank you for liking the live. Yeah, I hear ya. I hear ya. Well, you caught us on a good night. We're doing this lovely color palette. Blues, turquoises, teals, we're not sure. And then we added a little bit of that tiger lily we used the other night. I got a little fly in here. Isn't it beautiful? It is very beautiful. There's a little fly, like microscopic fly. All right, so one more. Kind of like I said, it's rolling off the edge here, which I think is kind of cool. Oops. We'll start right about here. I almost want to do more of the orange, the tiger lily. Maybe as some more micro dots instead of the zinc. I don't know that I usually like to use the zinc or the metallic as a micro dot, but I was not feeling it when I put it there. So we will revisit that. Yeah, some more of the orange, yeah, or the tiger lily. Yeah, that's a really pretty color. And it dries, Tiger Lily on its own. Most of the oranges on their own will dry almost a translucent. So keep that in mind when you're buying paints. Some of the oranges will dry translucent. Oh, a little too big, I think. There we go. Not a lot of colors dry translucent, but for whatever reason, oops, orange is one that does. And the darkest blue. Oh, yes. That aquamarine blue, I think that might be it. Or I know what you mean. Yeah. There is, for that particular paint brand, on their, they make it accessible for you to know if it dries translucent or not. I actually printed it. It doesn't mean I look at it, but it looks like this. So it's called this, an opacity chart. And then it'll tell you here, ultramarine blue. And I think that's what you were talking about. It actually says the jack-o'-lantern orange also is transparent, but on that buttermilk background, I guess it's not. So that's right on their website. Okay. What time is it? Oh, 10:08? Oh. We got time. All right, let's throw some Tiger Lily into this row. Micro dots in here. Yeah, because I think it's actually the same color. Not that I meant to do that, but then it gives it that like it's supposed to be. There we go. Just enough color. Ultra deep. Yeah, I think those are, like, those two are, the yellow's the orange. What are you doing?
You said 10 o'clock.
Yeah, where have you been? I thought you were in the room.
Take a shower at my dad's and get my laundry.
Did you really?
You still
Oh,
painting?
I am.
Oh,
You're fine. You can come in.
yeah.
You are fine. I actually thought you were in the room this whole time.
You said 10 o'clock.
Well, we strive for 10, don't we, ladies and gentlemen? We strive for 10.
Yeah, I'll save it.
Okay. All right, so I'm just going to carefully think about what I'm doing over on this. Yeah, I can't. I don't want them to be super big over there. Hang on a minute. Let's get this tiny, tiny one. So I'm right in here. There we go. I know. Well, and then like we end up, I feel like sometimes we start something because we have time, and then we're like, okay, I gotta go. Let's do this, and yes, we end up. He knows how much I love to paint, so he's not. He's fine. He's fine. I just didn't. I really, literally thought he was in the bedroom, which is funny to me. I thought he was in there watching TV. Actually, I thought he fell asleep. Okay, so dot, 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 dot. Just a little bit there. Okay. What do you guys think so far? Okay, let me just hold it up so that you guys can see it without the... I feel like I said, you get a better idea when I hold it up. Hi, Lenny. How are you? Yeah, I think that orange, what was it called? Oh, my God. Lily. Tiger lily. Yep. Okay. So let's put that down and we will move along now. All right. I feel like we need to lighten this up. So let's kind of go back down. I almost wonder. So this is kind of a rock that's kind of a different shape. So I feel like I could have started to go down in size a little bit sooner. But then I didn't want to have to use tiny dots either. So it's kind of like one of those things where the shape was a little intriguing. Plus it has all those divots. I'm kind of glad I actually stayed big because tiny dots in those divots is not going to be fun. Now, I don't normally pick rocks with all those divots, but like I said, this one was kind of caked in mud. So, oh, yes. Thank you. Thank God I have that laptop open, or I would just be painting like that forever. Oh, while charting. Oh, yeah. I hear that. Yeah, because you guys can't yell at me. Like, literally, I'm sitting here in silence. And I'm like, la-di-da, la-di-da. And then if I don't look at my laptop, then I'm like, oh. Oh, gosh. There should be one of those, like, abilities to, like, ring a bell or something like that. At least when it comes to me. Hey, Victoria. Ding, 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 ding. Okay. Let's just pop a couple in there. Okay. And then we'll go down smaller. I wonder if I should go down even smaller. So I think I'm going to have to go down to a dotting tool just so I can do walking dots on this one, because see, I'm going to end up running off. So I think if I do like here, like that, and one more. Oh. Paint must have ran down. No big deal. That was an easy fix, but so there we go. Exactly, real life. So is everybody off on like Friday? Like I said, I don't have clinical on Friday. They're all, the doctor's having a big 4th of July party, so I guess the entire office is off. You are? Yeah. This teal mint is pretty, but it's really thin. And it's not one I added paint to. It's really thin. Okay, so we'll go to the other side and match it up. I think because the 4th is on a Saturday, it sounds like a lot of businesses are giving that as a holiday. Everybody stay safe, because I don't know. It sounds like it's going to be a big deal this year. Do you guys go out for fireworks, or do you guys do stuff at home? Like when my dad was alive, he would buy, oh my gosh, I don't even know what he would buy. He would go crazy with the Saturday in the park. I think it was the 4th of July. There is, I forget, float. there's a name for it, and Mason would always tell me what it's called. There is. I'm staying home and watching the neighbors. Yeah. I feel like it might be that kind of year. Just to be safe. Okay, so we use that. We use that. Let's go all the way to the dark color and finish this thing off. Yeah, I just feel like this year, I mean, I think it's going to be a little crazy out there. Like I said, my company, where I do the home infusions, they keep asking me to do this one patient that is an hour and a half away on that Friday. And I'm just like, I know everybody's going to be driving. Everybody's going to be starting their holiday. And I don't want to be driving doing that. I mean, I need the money, but okay, that's fun. That's fun. Yeah, like I said, the volunteer fire department here does a really good job. The fireworks are top notch. Babe, what do we pay when we go? Is it $10 a person or $10 a car or
$5 a person.
$5 a person? I remember it was something, but I feel like we get our money's worth every year. Okay, so I think I'm gonna do some metallic and finish this edge, and then we are almost done. Yeah, we'll do metallic on this edge here, which isn't really a whole lot, but we're gonna pop that in like that. Okay. Did you hear me tap, tap, tap in the thing? Okay. So that's kind of like, I don't know that. So that's good. I think that helped me know if that's something I can recommend. Oh, that's fun. We live a block from our fairgrounds, so oh, that's nice. Then you don't have to go anywhere. You're there. I'm trying to figure out. I have just a little bit. I got an idea. I have just a little bit of an edge on here, and I think I'm gonna think outside the box. And I'm just gonna add the tiger lily there. Just for a little pop of color. Okay, okay, good night, Angie. What are we doing for colors tomorrow? What are we doing tomorrow? Oh my goodness. See, so I just add a little bit of the orange on there. That's definitely not the most heart-shaped rock I've ever done. Oh, patterns on paper. Patterns on paper. Yes, thank you. My gosh. So that I don't forget that. Let's see, this is dry. So the ones I have in here, we won't be able to do because some of those are with paintbrushes. But so yeah. So wait though. Cece, you're gonna get paper tomorrow. Okay. If you don't get paper tomorrow and we start the pattern book, maybe I can get you the recording. We'll have to figure out how to do that. Right? I think it came out really pretty. Like I said, it's not the most heart-shaped rock I've ever done, but I think it came out good. Okay. All right. And like I said, we'll play that by ear, but I will try and figure out how to upload that stuff going forward. All right, well, he went in the bedroom. Now I'm sure he's in the bedroom. But yeah, we'll eventually try and figure that out because I know there are some people that want to see what we do but aren't able to be here. We'll try and figure that out. Like I said, once I'm done with clinical, I'll have some free time to look at that. You too, Kara. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. So we will be here tomorrow and we'll work on that pattern book. And yeah, just like I said, I would have your colors picked out. And we'll go slow. Okay. And I think a good thing would be so let me show you how the book is. If you can, you don't have to do this ahead of time. But if you can, mark your book. And let's see. Let's get the rock out of the way. So mark your book. Let's go up. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. This paper is, I think it's 8.5 by 11. Okay, it's 9 by 12. But even if it's 8.5 by 11, I think if you do 4 across and then 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 5 down, like we can do 5 patterns and then you can have practice space. We're going to do swooshes with the tool. I can show you brush strokes, but most people are still working with just the tools. But we're going to be we'll do stuff like this without the brush stroke. Obviously the walking dots. Some of these are not ones like we can actually do this one too. This is with the tool. Oh, it's off paper. But these are not necessarily the pattern. This is actually when I was learning brush strokes. So like this is a little bit different than what I'm planning. So what we'll do tomorrow is patterns that we've seen and done. You know, oh my goodness. So for instance, this one, we've done this one. That's 2. We'll do this one. Oh, my magnets are working. And then I think we'll do a mirror one with the diamond in the center. And maybe practice some just simple swoosh ones. Those magnets work really good. Wow. Yeah, so that's a good portion of the main ones that we use. And then I'll look at my other boards and see if there's any basic ones that don't call for brush strokes. But alrighty, everybody. We will be here tomorrow, same time. I'll see you at 8 o'clock. And you'll have a great day. Good night, Lisa. Good night, Cece. Yes, I'm excited too. I'm glad we've all kind of gotten to that point where we're ready for some pattern books, because then you can practice them on your own. All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.